Okay, so I decided to make this video quick on my '03 Mitsubishi Galant. I believe this might help like people that own other years, like 99 to 2004 or so, something like that. But my model is an '03. And what's going on with this one is I took apart the instrument cluster cover. It took 2 screws on the top here, and then there's one clip there and one clip here. So you kind of apply even pressure to here and here to pull it out. And then I have these, these two black screws in the top of that. And then these 4 screws go to the cluster. One down here, one here, one on the top here, and then the other one's up there. So basically the reason why I pulled this out is because my fuel gauge isn't working, and I have the battery connected right now. I think I found my problem. With the car started and running, or in the on position, the fuel should come up. It's not. So the problem that I found it to be was this screw was loose on the back of the PCB board, and that screw goes to the fuel gauge. And right now, I basically, before I did all this, I did use my 10mm and I removed the battery. I just reconnected it all up just to see if that was my problem, because I found one of the screws was loose on the back of this. So I decided I'm just going to remove the screw and see if the fuel gauge continues to go up. There's actually an area on the back of the board. I'm going to flip it over right now. Let me shut the car off and remove the battery real quick. Okay. Positive. Okay, so we're back in here. I removed the battery. To get this off, you have one black connector here. And I checked all the pins. I made sure there was no burn marks. And then there's this white one over here. And there's no burn marks on this one either. Basically, to remove these, you squeeze this pin here, or clip, and it lets the connector come loose. So the screw I removed was this one up here. It says fuel above it. I did tighten down all the rest of the screws. I gave them a slight snug down with a Phillips. Just went over each and every single one. And I made sure it was decent, just snug. You know, some of them, they were a little looser than this before. So a lot of you are probably wondering how they worked their way loose. Those are all pretty nice and tight. This did solve my problem. I'm only like double confirming it, just to, you know, document it and help other people on the internet if you own the same kind of car. But the reason these came loose is because the previous owner that owned this car didn't change his motor mounts when they wore out, and the engine created a lot of vibration. You could even feel it in the interior of the car. So that's nice and snug. I'm gonna just, yeah. Sorry, my fingers are in the way of the camera there. But yeah, this is nice and tight. It's nice and snug down. So now it should work. There are other things that this could be. I mean, this won't be necessarily every case, but I know that this car had loose and damaged motor mounts. I still need to clean a lot of this. This grime on here is previous owner stuff, so. And it was a smoker. I don't smoke, but I can even see some ash in there. I think I'll clean that out, just to save my lungs. But yeah, regardless, this would be your fix. Maybe. Let me see if this fixes it. I'm actually going to plug it back in. I'm pretty sure it will, because that was really loose. I'm like 90% sure this is going to fix it. Let me see here. Okay, so we got the black one in, black connector, and then you have the white one on the right. There we go. And I'm making sure nothing is touching any metal or anything. I like leaving these plastic tabs outside and on the bottom to kind of hold it. And there's nothing metal back there that it's going to touch. So I have my keys here. I'll put them in the ignition. So the fuel gauge should go up. I'll turn the car on. It's going up. Yeah, it looks like it is. It's slow, but I'm going to wait till it gets all the way up to the full mark, and then I'll hit record again. I'm not going to make you guys wait here for... So yeah, it looks like it went all the way back up. And it's actually even still going up. But I guess if your Galant has loose motor mounts, you want to replace them, obviously. Otherwise, you know, in extreme cases, all the mounts were bad on this car. I replaced all 4 of them. You can get them off Rock Auto for pretty cheap. But you want to remedy that before you go in and do all this, because it's just going to come back until you solve the real, you know, problem. So I guess this should be the end of the video. I mean, I will update this if the problem returns, because maybe it wasn't the screw. I'm like 90% sure it is, but it could even be other stuff behind or inside of this gauge. I will go back and update though this video, or in the comments after a week of driving it, if the issue returns. It seemed to only happen when the car was cold, and then eventually it just happened all the time. So like the fuel gauge would go all the way, read empty after, you know, like you'd start it up in the morning and it wouldn't be on, and then later on after driving it, it would go back up, which led me to think, oh, maybe it's something in the tank, and then eventually it stopped working altogether, and then I was like, I don't want to go in the tank if I don't have to, you know, start somewhere simpler, you know, check the electronics. I mean, I know if that's the issue, that's where you want to go and fix this, but this will save you guys some time and, you know, trouble. It's actually pretty easy to do this. Just make sure that you do remove your battery, and before you actually remove the cluster. You don't want to accidentally cause an electrical short to happen in here or anything. I've done enough of this to where, yeah, it looks like it went all the way up to the top. It's actually literally just sitting there now, and it's not going anywhere. So I'm going to label this fixed. If you guys if you guys were helped by this video, please like the video, subscribe. Let me know in the comments if this helped you or if it didn't. And hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. This is pretty cheap fix too. I mean, like literally, I still have all the screws here. I did have to remove this wire connector. I don't think I mentioned that actually in the video. That's what I was forgetting. I knew I was forgetting something. That's why I was so hesitant to close the video back there. But yeah, I did remove this. It's a little white connector back in here. You can see it right there. And it's the same kind of like clip there. And pretty much you just remove those 3 connectors, this one and then the 2 on the cluster, the black ones on the left and then the white ones on the right. So after you get all that out, check to see if all the screws are tight, tighten them down, put it all back in, see if that fixes your problem. If it doesn't, more than likely the issue is either going to be the actual gauge itself, or it could be your fuel sender unit, which is in the fuel tank, or it could be the wiring is interrupted or shorted from the cluster all the way back to the fuel tank somewhere. But let me know if this video helped you guys out in the comments below. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and have a good one.